Welcome back to AFTV, everyone. It is time for Chelsea versus Arsenal. The starting level will be announced in exactly 29 minutes, and of course we'll be scouring social media to see if there are any early leaks, because we know that people are getting hold of the information. But it's a big one. We're back from the international break. Chelsea versus Arsenal. I tell you what, it doesn't feel like 2 weeks since the City game. It feels like just the other day. I was trying to enjoy 2 weeks off to sit on that result, as was everyone here. So let's welcome the panel. We've got Frank with us, we have Turkish, we have Charlie, and we have Dan Potter.
You didn't get the memo. You didn't get the memo.
No, I really didn't.
Turkish hates
Clapping's done around here.
Oh, okay, no clapping allowed.
Charlene hasn't been on in a little while, so.
Welcome back, Charlie.
I wanted that grand, welcome.
Yeah, don't expect it next week, yeah?
Okay, boss.
That's it now, done now.
That's it, the clap's done.
That is the final clap.
I do want to interrupt things because some breaking news has just come out, and I want to say rest in peace to Sir Bobby Charlton, who's just passed away.
Man.
Yeah.
Well, so there had been rumours circulating on socials, and I actually wasn't going to say anything until we kind of had confirmation, but there you go.
Yeah, it's just come out.
Come through.
Rest in peace,
Bobby.
Very sad, absolute footballing legend.
Legend.
When do Man United play?
Tonight, 8 p.m.
Tonight, 8 p.m. It's an
There'll be
away
something.
game.
Sheffield United.
They'll obviously do something for that.
They might even do
that's
something. I
horrendous
mean,
news, man.
not
That's-
just. For England, he's a legend as well, isn't it?
Proper legend.
No, of course,
Footballing
I'm
legend.
thinking
Yeah.
turnaround, but I imagine in an hour and a half they can sort of say to the players,
Yeah.
right, we're just going to get you out a little bit early. I wonder if they'll. Sometimes they wear black armbands, don't they?
Minute
Sometimes, or-
silence.
Sometimes a minute's silence, minute's applause, something like that.
They'll do something, man.
Yeah.
They've got to. That's
Yeah.
That's massive, yeah.
Wow.
I agree. Yeah, may you rest in peace, Sir Bobby Charlton. Let's look ahead to the big game. As I said, in about 28 minutes or so time, we're going to be having the starting 11s announced. There's a lot of mystery around the starting 11 because we thought it was touch and go for a few players going into City. We're now 2 weeks on Turkish, and we've actually heard very little. I mean, okay, we know that Thomas Partey, for example, played for Ghana in the international break, got 20 minutes. We know that Martinelli is expected to be fully fit, having played 45 against City. But we don't know much about Bukayo Saka.
Yeah, I mean, prior to the City game, it looked like all the rumours tended to, point in the direction that he's going to be starting against City. So I don't know whether that was a bit of mind games from Arteta and the club to, trick City into thinking we're stronger than we were going into the game. But after that, the fact that England tried to insist on calling him up and get their own review of his circumstance, I just think to myself, he must be ready for this game coming up. And maybe the less said about it is another play in terms of mind games prior to the game. I expect to have a fully fit, aside from Timber, squad today and our strongest starting 11 of the season.
Do you think, Frank, the fact that there's been no pictures of him in training, nothing like that, is Arsenal keeping their hands, their cards close to their chest and, I don't know, trying to... I mean, it's a bit like, we see the Reece James stuff, photos sort of emerged that he was training, and it got people thinking, that is making people think that maybe he's not going to play, because the social media now, it's always being used to try and plant ideas into the opposition's heads.
No, absolutely, and I agree with you. I think, in my personal opinion, no news is always good news. I think if there was anything serious that was going down, we'd be the first to know about it. But I think it's good that he's kept his cards close to his chest on this occasion, and like Turkish said, I expect to see a very, very, arguably, possibly our strongest 11 that we have available at the club in this game.
Yeah, Charlie?
Yeah, I'm with Frank on that as well. I do reckon. I've got a strong feeling that Bukayo Saka will be back making an appearance today. I reckon he's going to start as well.
Do you think?
Yep. And in terms of not posting him on training and stuff like that, don't give all your secrets away. And we know how Arteta is as well. He likes to, throw the opposition off a bit. So I'm confident that we will see Saka.
There's the mind games aspect. Then there's also fitness. They've actually got to consider if Saka's 98% fit, and they'll have their numbers and their science to sort of work out where along the recovery they are, these players. There's probably an argument to say that if this were the Champions League final, everyone will go, well, we know Saka's going to play. Even if the guy's 50%, he's going to give it a go. We'll just risk a sub. Obviously, with the whole season to think about, Sevilla in the week coming, there's also an element of, we got through City without risking it with three players that I all thought were going to start, including Martinelli, Partey. How important is this in terms of risking those players, Dan?
Yeah, I mean, this season is going to be the biggest test for Mikel Arteta in terms of squad rotation anyway, because we've never been in this position. He's never been in this position before with 4 trophies to go for. But I think this one's massive, man. It's massive. If we was to drop points today and there was Saka out, people wouldn't go, it's all right, Saka is resting it. It's Chelsea, you want to beat them, it's at Stamford Bridge.
Yeah.
A few Arsenal fans, not quite sure why, are really nervous about this one. I don't get where that's come from, but fair enough. Maybe it's because it's Chelsea and it's Stamford Bridge.
No, I'm one of those. Because I just think when you look at our record at the Bridge, and listen, I'm predicting a win before everyone says, "Oh, here Turkish goals, negative." It's just that we've had such a great record at the Bridge recently. What is it? Last three win. They haven't beat us since 2018. That's what just makes me nervous, because Lords of Averages will tell you that, you know, you don't continue beating teams away from home this consistently, let alone a Big Six team, even though I use the term Big Six lightly at the moment with Chelsea.
Yeah, I've got a little bit of that nervous energy, but a lot of it is down to what we see in the starting 11 today. I kind of had that going into City. I was kind of made to feel stupid by Arteta pulling out a really great win against City. We got a clip from Robbie. This was sort of looking ahead to the game in the week. He gave us the 11 he wants to see. I think it's the 11 all of us will say. Let's just hear it here from Robbie.
Yeah. So Raya in goal.
Fair enough.
A back four, I'd like to see, of course, Ben White, who was brilliant against City. Of course, centre backs of Saliba and Gabriel. Fantastic again against City, and Zinchenko at left back. And here's my midfield, which I think is going to be all in. What I'd love to see in this game is Thomas Partey, Declan Rice and Martin Odegaard. Them three.
Yeah.
For me, if that's the midfield, come here on Saturday, I'm really confident that we can come here and get a result. That would be, for me, that is Arsenal's best midfield. And then up front, it all depends on Saka if he's fit or not. If he's fit, Saka, of course, on that right-hand side. On the left-hand side, Martinelli with Jesus down the middle. If Saka wasn't fit, then Jesus on the right-hand side, and I'd have Eddie Nketiah down the middle. Always does well.
Not Kai Havertz.
Not
Good
Kai
appearance
Havertz.
off the bench up front against City.
Off the bench,
former
could come
club.
on. Former club, but listen, Eddie Nketiah against Chelsea has always done well. I mean, and his pressing and everything, I think, will be really important in a game like this. So I'd start Eddie.
You can see I tried my best to get Kai Havertz in that 11 with Robbie, but he wasn't having it. Former Chelsea player, as is Jorginho. Okay, let's unpack that. Anyone here think that isn't our best 11, or we'll go with something different anyway, if everyone's fully fit?
That's our best 11 if everyone's fully fit. Yeah,
cool,
man.
everyone agrees with that.
No, Timber's fully fit. I'd have an argument.
Well, there's that. That's true. That is
I
true.
didn't. That's not going to happen, is it?
Where do we stand on Arteta rewarding the players that came in and did well for City? Because that is one thing he does sometimes. He does something like play Partey right back, and we beat Nottingham Forest, and he thinks, cool, that seems to be working. And actually you sort of think, well, maybe it worked for this to a degree, or maybe the opposition, whatever. Jorginho and Nketiah started against City. Any argument for either of them starting Turkish?
No, because did they really set the world alight? I'm not asking them to set the world alight against City, but it was okay.
I think Jorginho did well.
But when Partey came on the level,
I agree.
and that's the
also
bottom line of it, really.
Yeah, and no one else thinking the same with Jorginho.
Do you know what? I just feel like Arteta needs to be ruthless. Man City was a game prior. Today's a new game, fresh start, different opposition. So go with your strongest 11 and who you think is best to play in this game, regardless of what they've done in the previous game.
Yeah.
Look, Jorginho and Eddie are squad players, aren't they? They're not. When we've got the players fit, they ain't coming in the first 11 for me. Eddie Nketiah scored 2 goals in 27. I'm calm with Jesus through the middle.
There is, though, another thing here, Frank, is, okay, cool, if Saka's just not fit enough to start, I think if Partey's not fit enough to start, my worry is it might not even just be a case of Jorginho coming in. I actually think that's the second best option. I'm more worried about Rice going to the 6 and him just sort of going with Havertz or Vieira, who Havertz works hard, but there's no way made that position his own. Vieira did well away at Goodison, has had some moments this season, but still growing into that. The big thing is if Saka doesn't start, what we do on that right-hand side. Because you can either go like for like with the Reece Nelson, okay, right-footed, but direct winger. You could move Jesus out wide, who did really well against City, but then what do you do with that number 9 position? What do you think?
No, absolutely. I understand what you mean in that sense, and obviously, touch wood that Bukayo Saka is fully available and fully fit to start this game. But if he's not, I feel like we are going to get a situation again where, and it's not necessarily what I want, you will see Eddie Nketiah go down the middle, and then maybe Gabriel Jesus go down to that right-hand side. He did that a lot for Manchester City, very successful for Manchester City as well. So if that is the case, then I feel like that's what you're going to see.
Anyone else got any
What
ideas?
about Trossard? I would put Trossard over on that right-hand side.
Well, so I would... Trossard would be my answer, but down the middle, I'll
Same.
get Jesus on the right and
Same.
Martinelli on the left, because at least you've got your pace to that wide.
Same, that's what I'm
Is that
saying.
what you do?
I'll do that ahead of Eddie or Kai Havertz. That would be my. I don't think that will happen if
No.
Saka's out, by the way. But that was what I would do. I put
I'd agree
Trossard.
with that, yeah.
Yeah, we've got an away goal finally. I was sort of thinking this is looking like a day of no away goals, but Wolves have got one back at Bournemouth. I'll get the other results up in a second, but we did see Liverpool beat Everton. Did anyone else catch that game as well?
Missed
I
out.
started
off.
watching it, but it wasn't the greatest.
I didn't think Liverpool looked
Few
great.
dodgy
I mean, I know
decisions, refereeing decisions throughout.
Yeah,
the
what
game,
were you
apparently.
thinking about them? The yellow card.
Well, so I haven't actually seen the footage, but from what I understand, it was a bit like once again the English officials being inconsistent, because obviously they gave Ashley Young the second yellow card. I think the first yellow card was a bit harsh from what I heard, and obviously that led to him getting the second yellow card. But with the Kanate one, obviously received the yellow card initially, and then I think the challenge was probably even slightly worse, but not to receive the yellow card. I heard that Sean Dyche was going absolutely crazy, so that was interesting to see.
Yeah, I thought the Kanate one definitely could have been a second yellow when it comes to inconsistency, but the handball from Keane, I thought that's pretty stonewall. I don't know if you guys caught it, but he basically just sort of stood with his arm out like this. You're going to give a penalty for that. Liverpool won, which I think puts them level on points. That's maybe above us just on goal difference, I think. I'll have a little look at the table in a sec. Of course, Tottenham play on the Monday night. Man United, as you said, later tonight. Who else? Man City beating Brighton at the moment. So like I said, we'll get the scores up in a sec. Who is feeling confident going into this game? You said you've got the confidence. You're feeling more like...
I'm confident, but I'm weary at the same time.
You're kind of acknowledging that there's...
It's a derby. There's reason to be.
There's the law of averages thing, but there's also the fact that Chelsea... I've paid quite a lot of attention to. I don't know why. I'm just quite fascinated by how you can build a £1 billion squad and not look like a team ready to win the title. So I've kind of been keeping an eye. And while I actually don't think their players all across the pitch look anywhere near a title, I'm not even sure in 3 years' time they necessarily will be. They might be. And there's some talents there. My big thing is, how are they playing? Like, are they taking to Pochettino quickly? And to be fair, their performances have been good. I actually think in 3 or 4 games where they haven't won, they could have picked up a point where they lost, for example, Forest or Villa. They could have picked up 3 points against Liverpool where they ended up drawing. I think they could be a little bit higher than the table. We'll be looking at them differently, Charlie.
Yeah, do you know what? First of all, we are unbeaten in the league. Let me just remind everyone about that.
That is true.
We've been doing really well in London derbies as well. We're unbeaten in 15 London derbies. Few stats for you guys. And yeah, like you said, I mean, Pochettino's just come in. He still needs to sort of find his feet, find his best starting 11 as well. And players have been pulled out of positions and stuff like that. So I still feel like they are sort of trying to find a bit of rhythm. Form does go out of the window when it comes to London derbies. In terms of us, I feel like, we've got a strong team, hopefully a fully fit team as well.
Yeah.
And I just feel like we're going to be a much more structured, organised team that's going to go out there and get results. So I'm feeling really confident about today's game.
You're not the only one. We've got a clip from someone who called in on FANZONE, and this is confidence. Have a little listen to this.
Yeah, no, first time caller, thanks for having me. I think we're going to smoke them. Honestly.
Wow.
I'm going 3-0. I'm just so confident. The way we've been playing, against City, I just come away from it and we just battled so well, and we just come together so well. And even with, Jorginho coming in, and everyone was worried, and I was really worried. I'm sitting there thinking Jorginho in there, and we just bossed it. And then when Partey come on and Martinelli come on, we just look so strong. And I just think we're going for full fitness. If everyone's fit and we get Partey, Odegaard and Rice in the middle, Saka on one side, Martinelli and Jesus off the top, with our centre-back pairing and Ben White and Jay, I just can't see anything else. But
I like your confidence. I must
just a
admit.
smoking.
I'm not one of these XG merchants, man. Seriously, I mean, where, look at their XG. Look at their XG. The cold hard facts is, right, is that they've been poor.
This Arsenal team has to have confidence, surely.
100%, James, but you're right there, and we've also got players returning. Players returning that, some, I wouldn't say missed, we definitely missed Saka, but we did get the job done against City. That should build Arsenal players, the fans, everyone with confidence. But I'm really trying not to get too ahead of myself, because I've spoken to Chelsea fans, and the ones that I've spoken with seem confident that they're going to get a result against us on Saturday, funny enough. But I'm just like, where's that confidence coming from? But we should be, like you just mentioned there.
I kind of get it.
Yeah, we're coming from an international break. I think that their last couple of wins is probably what's spurring them on, but we should be, we're going for the top of the Premier League. Obviously, it might be only for 48 hours if we get the win, but we should be having loads of confidence. Coming back from the international break, like you said, players returning. It's Chelsea.
But
it's Chelsea.
what about, I know you say you're not an XG merchant, but what about the law of averages? Are we going to win 4 in a row at Stamford Bridge?
Why not? Why not?
Oh, I hear it. I mean, City did it to us.
To me, I always look on it, it's not law of averages, it's law of good football, law of quality players, you know what I mean? And one thing that I think I'm very happy to see at the moment with Arsenal is that we've got a lot of injured players.
The law of quality players. He calls me an XG merchant. Can you believe this guy? Look, differing opinions going into this game. I find it so interesting when fans go into a game like City. Everyone's kind of on the same wavelength. We can beat them, but we know that it's going to be difficult, whatever. There's some people, like we've heard from that caller, first-time caller. You can join us, by the way, on FANZONE by downloading the AFTV Plus app. He was so confident. You're relaxed, not maybe overly confident, but you're relaxed.
No, I'm relaxed,
You're trusting in the team. But I'm definitely kind of feeling this, like, it wasn't like the Tottenham game where I came in and had a really nervous, bad feeling. I think Chelsea could pose more problems than City did. I know that seems crazy, but I think they could.
With Chelsea, haven't they got quite a few players out injured as well? You know,
but they've got a £1 billion squad. I mean, they've got 30 other players to pick
I
from.
mean, they've had...
Like, the 11 that goes out today won't look like an 11 that's missing 10.
Isn't that opinion in hindsight, though, considering that Man City lacked something in the game? I don't think you would have said that prior to the Man City
No, I would
game.
never have said that prior
And I
to the
think
Man
Pep
City
made
game.
decisions in that game that did cost them as well. As much as we were resolute and sound defensively and shut them down, I think Pep made decisions that game where, looking back to it, probably wasn't the best not to have a wide player in there and a bit more direct attacker. But I understand what you're saying with Chelsea. This is the one where Arsenal should win, get the job done, and they tend to be the ones where, we can slip, let's say.
The only scenario for me to any confidence would be the starting 11. If we start to see players out and injured and Saliba don't make it, Saka don't make it, Partey don't make it, then we can start having a conversation about maybe we don't look as strong. But for me, the strongest area of their team is Chelsea's midfield in terms of Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez, etc. And I think with Partey, Odegaard and Rice, we're all looking forward to that, right? So that for me is where we can win the game, dominating the midfield and ensure that we're as solid as we are away from home. We've got the firepower up top. I'm not so sure that Chelsea have. Sterling's their best guy at the top there. I'm not too sure Nicholas Jackson is the guy that Chelsea want up top long term, but he's doing a job at the moment. He's found his feet. Mudrik's got his first goal. But I don't look at them and go, I ain't keeping that front line quiet.
No,
do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do, but there's something chaotic about Chelsea. I don't know how to explain it. Like, Sterling can make things happen. Nicholas Jackson can make things happen. They have created quite a lot of chance this season. Robbie hates the XG, but that is somewhat evidence of a team that is able to get shots at goal and rack up some sort of opportunities and get your defence sort of, having to do their duties. Against Man City, what really surprising, we talked about Forever Arsenal, was we made it look defensively very comfortable, and it wasn't. You have to be constantly switched on, constantly in shape, constantly covering for one another, working supremely hard, which they did. But what happens if Arsenal in this game, against an 11th place side, not last season's treble winners, think, okay, let's open up, let's get a bit more expansive, let's get Zinni on the ball a little bit more, and Chelsea do get a little bit of a foothold in the game going the other way, a few more transition moments. This is where I just think I could see this being a little bit more scrappy, whereas I think we had control of the affair against City, not in terms of chance creation, but in terms of keeping it very at a simmer. Whereas, do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I mean, there's an argument that, look, against the teams that we've been confident against this season at home, we unlock ourselves a little, and that's cost us goals against. Defensively, we haven't been as sharp as we've been away from home, aside from that Lens game. So there's that argument that a balance needs to be found. I think we definitely score in this game, but what I want to know is, what do we do when we do score? Don't take our foot off the gas. I think Chelsea are there to be taken. So rather than this methodical approach that we tend to take against some of the teams that we should be beating away from home, regardless of the approach, whether it be who have we beaten away from home this year, Everton and Man City is one of them. I think we need to find the right balance against Chelsea, because if we keep them at bay, if we keep a clean sheet, we win this game. Without a shadow of a doubt, we're scoring. If we keep a clean sheet, we win it. So let's find that right balance now. I think a 2-week break. We've played the 8 game weeks of the season now. There's been tactical tweaks there. I think the last 2 weeks and that Manchester City win, it should lift some of the belief in the squad. Not that it needed lifting prior, but we needed to get over that Man City hurdle when we did.
Well, Ollie from AI has given us what he believes to be the team news. The article is on the AFTV website as well. He is gone. Oh, well, I say he's gone with. I always say it like he's picked the 11. But David Raya obviously keeps his place. Ben White, Saliba, Gabriel and Zinchenko, the back four, I think we all expected.
Yeah.
It is Rice in the box-to-box with Ødegaard, but Jorginho does keep his place in the team.
Wow.
Martinelli, Jesus and Bukayo Saka is apparently fit to return. So we had questions over whether someone was going to keep their place in the team because of what happened against City. Looks like Jorginho, I thought had the better of between him and Nketiah had the better of the two games. He's going to keep his place. Going to try and get some news on the bench very shortly. But Saka is fit to start. Turkish.
Yeah, Saka. I mean, I'm still thinking about Jorginho. I'm not completely against it, but it's just the selection of Jorginho for me is the least risk possible of the three you could pick. And by three you could pick, I mean Partey, Havertz, and Jorginho. I think he's gone with the least risk, which will tell me the whole methodical choke them to death in the first 20 minutes and then, seek a controlled victory. I think that's going to be the approach. Listen, it is what I don't think Partey being there, Jorginho being there is a difference maker. I think we should still win the game, and I'm just glad our front three is our front three now because we need them to be fit and firing.
First start for that front three, Dan. I think all season in the Premier League. Yeah, it's big. Jesus down the middle. His first start in the Premier League down the middle this season, and we saw last season how devastating they were.
Yeah, listen, I love the front three. I think the front three is class. I think it's the best front three that we've had in a long time. What I like about it so much, though, is because Jesus' game through the middle allows Saka and Martinelli to be lifted in terms of their performance. We saw last season both of them get 15 goals, and I think that although Jesus was out for a large part of that, I do think that when he was in the team, they looked electric, the pair of them. So I'm excited by that. I'm okay with the Jorginho thing. It just must mean that Partey just ain't 100% in Arteta's eyes yet. And I think he had a good game against Man City until he come off. And it might be that it's a similar situation. The Partey comes on again for the last 25 and we start to see a different midfield. I think we're a little bit disappointed, if we're honest, because I just want to see that three together. And maybe we'll see that three at the part of the game today, but it ain't going to be for 90 minutes. I think Jorginho, sometimes you need a player like that. And I don't mind him. A lot of people, I don't want him there forever. Don't get me wrong. I don't want him in the first 11 forever. But when he's in the team, I don't go, oh no, it's not a Mustafi moment for me. Do you know what I'm saying? We've had that for a while, haven't we? We've had a lot of them come in and you're like, oh my God, you roll your eyes. So for me, it's not like a horrendous one. But
he is he will be the target. I think when Pochettino looks at our starting 11, if that is to be confirmed in 5 minutes or so, they're going to look at the whole squad. And if Partey's there, there's a lack of a target there. If Jorginho's there, he's a bit slower on the ball. He could be susceptible to giving it away if pressed in the correct manner. So I think that will be the area that they go for, especially with some of the athleticism they have in their midfield. I think Caicedo in particular, Gallagher's got the lungs.
Yeah, that's the one I was going to mention, Gallagher. I think he's the one that, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, Chelsea fans, if you're watching this, let me know in the comments if I'm wrong, but I think they've been playing with Enzo and Caicedo as controllers a bit deeper and Gallagher presses, and then when they get the ball, Palmer can kind of come inside a little bit more. So I think Gallagher would have maybe not necessarily a lot of joy, but he'd be thinking, I can get close to Jorginho. I can use my legs and try and stop Arsenal's form.
Jorginho knows what this occasion's like. It's a completely different Chelsea he was part of, but this is a game he won't be going into this game unaware of the surroundings sort of thing. He knows what this is about. He understands the importance of the game. He knows the place very, very well. I'm all right with it, to be honest.
I suppose I understand where you're coming from in a sense, but obviously the only thing I can sort of think it could be is that, like you said, James, that maybe he's not fully fit. But to counter that, he went away on international duty and played for Ghana. So if he's not fully fit, we've just seen it with Bukayo Saka, we've just seen it with William
I think his minutes were managed there, to be fair. I think I read somewhere.
They got Chris Hughton on that because he took him off at half time.
Did he? Okay.
And it's very rare that international managers work in collaboration with the club to protect and nurture a player back in. Essentially, that's what he done. That's
Am I right? I think he only got 20 or so minutes in a game, in another game. I might be wrong.
Well, to be honest, I know the 45 in the first game. I'm not sure about the second game. But if he was managing, it weren't fair.
Oh, maybe it was 45, 60, something like that. But yeah, fine, good. That is what you want, is minutes managed, and you're right. It's good to see that, because I sometimes think international managers and teams think, well, they're ours. It's like, well, hold on. Who's looking after them for sort of 95% of the season? But yeah, okay, so Thomas Partey. So what about, though, Jorginho back at the bridge? There's a narrative there, there's a story there. I've seen players go back to their former clubs and crumble because they want to do too much or under the pressure or whatever it might be. The fans get on top of them. But I'd like to think Jorginho's got a cool head on his shoulders and will just treat it like any other game. It's one thing he is, he's a professional.
I understand where you're coming from in that sense, and that's why I'm not overly disappointed. I would have certainly preferred Jorginho to the likes of maybe a Kai Havertz, and that's nothing against Kai Havertz, but Jorginho is definitely the more composed of the two, and you sort of need that away, especially at somewhere like Stamford Bridge. You need that composure. But if it's not working, and this is where we need to, obviously Mikel Arteta has been a bit touch and go with his changes and his substitutions throughout the season and through previous seasons as well. If it's not working, that's when we need to see Thomas Partey as soon as possible.
Yeah,
exactly. And the fact that Jorginho is experienced as he is as well, I think he'll be able to handle the pressure and switch off from whatever's happening in the crowd and just do what's expected of him on the pitch.
Yeah, agree with that, Dan?
Yeah, listen, Jorginho, everyone's now going to think of the Tottenham moment, right? Because that was frustrating and it showed the lack of experience. For me, he keeps that simple most of the time. I've always seen this guy keeping the ball. It's very rare that happens for me. Like I say, he's not the one that I want to be starting. I want Partey in the side. I really want to see these three together. But it won't be long, man. I'm sure it won't be long.
So I've just had confirmation that Partey played 45 and 60 minutes on international duty, so he didn't get a full 90 there, which is good. Probably managing the right minutes. I would think this is as much about managing Partey as it is the fact that Arteta rates Jorginho. He started him away at Newcastle last year when a lot of us were thinking that's a strange one. He opted for his experience and his ability on the ball against City more than, don't laugh at me, but more than Kai Havertz's presence. Even though he's not got a lot of presence, he's at least 6'3" and gets stuck in. Don't you start. So whatever we think of Jorginho, Arteta wanted him a few years ago, was working with Pep when Pep wanted him, and has been starting him when I think a few of us has thought that maybe there were better options to go with. So he's shown faith in him quite a few times.
He has. Listen, I wasn't Jorginho's biggest fan prior, even when he was at Chelsea, and this ain't the bias. I just used to see him as, a very slow midfielder. But since he's come in, I've saw what he can bring, which is that level of experience and that composure in times of need. And I like his character off the pitch as well. I think he's a serious guy. It's not like years gone past when we'll take players off rival clubs and they come in and become part of the furniture in a bad way. Yeah. I think he's actually come in and helped.
I agree with that, yeah.
And I don't think the decision to start him is that big of a decision. In this one, I think it's, when you see the strength of the players around him, I think that's where Jorginho can excel as well. It's not necessarily the quality he has, it's the quality the players around him have. And it's just about him finding those players swiftly, consistently, efficiently. So, I'm happy to see him start. It's cool. I don't think it's gonna, ruin our day.
Yeah.
But he will be the target. So if things are not looking well, I think Shah said it, or someone said it, bring Partey on.
Yeah, I agree. Another player who obviously didn't go on international duty, we kind of forget about that, is William Saliba. I think we forget because he's not really a starter for France anyway, even though he's been slowly getting more minutes. He apparently had a toe problem, I think I read somewhere. He didn't go on international duty, fit to start again. Has Arteta pulled off a little bit of a Fergie here of, let's actually protect some of our players. They're not fully fit to go. You don't need to play in those games. Stay and recover.
I hope so, and I hope that does happen more for me, because it depends. I understand footballers want to play football, and I also understand you want to play for your country. But I do think there's a certain amount of intelligence around it about how it can affect the coming weeks after. And if it's a game that you just think, do I need to be playing this one really? Is this going to do me any favours whatsoever, like physically or mentally? I think if the answer is probably not, then stay and say, just got a little bit of a knock. I saw comments from William Gallas today about Saliba saying, calm down, he ain't done nothing yet, blah, blah, blah. I think...
Who said that?
William Gallas.
That guy just shut the hell up, man.
Innit? I did think that, man. I did think that. Saying he can think of 4 or 5 defenders better than him and all that. Be my guest, man. Keep writing him off, please.
Why is he talking about us anyway? Go to
I know.
Chelsea
Well, I guess it's because someone's asking
He literally
Chelsea,
played for
Arsenal.
all our rivals, insult on the pitch when we needed him most. Listen, not an opinion I take seriously. Anyway, the 11's going to be out any second now. We're 1 minute away. I mean, obviously, we've heard from Ollie that it is David Raya in goal with Ben White, Saliba, Gabriel and Zinchenko. Jorginho keeps his place with Odegaard and Rice in the midfield three that helped to beat Man City. Partey, of course, did come off the bench and make a massive impact. We'll see if he's on the bench for this one in just a sec. Saka, though, fit to return, which is just fantastic news as well, we think, anyway. Gonna get news on the... Newcastle scored a fourth. Gonna get news on the Chelsea 11 in just a second as well, because they have they have a plethora of players to choose from. I mean, technically they would normally, but they do have a lot of injuries. Here we go. The 11's out. 5 seconds ago it dropped. Wow, perfect timing. Sanchez in goal. Gusto returns with Thiago Silva, Colwill and Cucurella at left back. Gallagher, Caicedo, Enzo in the midfield three, Palmer, Sterling and Mudryk all start. So it looks like one of Sterling or Mudryk as a false nine or just an out-and-out nine. But Mudryk gets a start against Arsenal. Of course, we know about that failed attempt to sign him back in January. Sterling looks like he's going to play up top. Palmer's fit to start despite rumours he might not be. The midfield three we expected, but crucially, Cucurella has been playing at right back very recently, has moved back to left back with Colwill in at centre back. Who's got a reaction to that?
Is Jackson on the bench or is he injured? Because I know he had.
Jackson's on the bench.
Oh, okay.
Broha as well.
No.
He's injured, bro.
Washington, Madueke, Ogochukwu, Dizazi, Badiashile, Matson, Reece James on the bench, and Petrovic.
Listen, they've got pace in attack. Cole Palmer might start up top with Mudryk and Sterling on the wings.
Oh, it could be Palmer.
He's probably the most technical of the lot. Maybe drops
he
in a
impresses
little,
me,
allow
man.
space in behind, and these two to. So that I think from that lineup you can see what they're trying to do. They know we're going to have a lot of the ball, but if they get the ball, they're going to try to be swift in transition. That's where the midfield, Declan Rice, Jorginho in particular, need to make sure that they cut it out between the lines. Yeah,
it's an interesting 11. I mean, I'm surprised considering they've actually put together a little decent run of wins before the international break. Cucurella, I think, was doing fine at right back. He's obviously not. He's a left back, and I always think for some reason it feels more awkward when you put a left footer at right back than you do a right footer at left back. But Cucurella's done well there, but he's kind of been moved. Colwill's been at left back all season, so he comes in at centre back now. I wonder if that's to do with the Jesus effect. I mean, Colwill, good on the ball, athletic guy. Does he think he'll do a better job than a Dizazi, who doesn't look? I don't know quite.
I think Colwill is a centre back, really, isn't he?
Yeah,
Let's be real. I don't really see him as a.
Yeah,
he has, and I don't see him as a left back. If I'm honest, I know Chilwell's got lots of injuries, but Cucurella, if he can find any sort of form that he has at Brighton, then he's not a bad fullback, is he? But when you look at it, for me, Colwill, I think would be a very good centre half in the coming years, and I think they've given him the nod ahead of it. The one for me is interesting is Cole Palmer, because not a lot of people have spoken about him before. It was all talking about Raheem Sterling, but he can be dangerous. He scored against us in the Community Shield, if I'm right, for City. So bit of a surprise transfer, if I'm honest. I don't think anyone saw that one coming, to be fair. But I think he's a good player, man. He's got potential to do really well. So
fair enough. The Arsenal 11 is exactly as Ollie said about 15-20 minutes ago, so fair play to him. The bench, Hine is on the bench, so there were rumours that Aaron Ramsdale wasn't going to be available. We think it's to do, well, I don't want to speculate, but apparently his partner's pregnant, so I think it's related to that. Those are the rumours on social media. Of course, we wish him and his partner all the best. Tomiyasu, Kivior, Partey, Smith Rowe, Nelson, Havertz, Trossard and Nketiah on the bench.
No Vieira.
Oh, wow.
Still injured.
Great spot.
Oh, mate.
Still injured?
Yeah, he was injured before, wasn't he? He got a knock.
Was he not on the
Vieira
bench for
got an
City?
injury. Nah, he didn't come on, did he?
Didn't come
No,
on.
he didn't come on, but I mean, was he?
I'm sure he wasn't on the bench.
Was it even prior
He come
to
off.
that?
Didn't he come off in the first half of a game, and everyone thought it was tactical and it was the injury? He ain't been back
The
since.
North
Was it
London
North London
derby?
Derby? Yeah. Everyone said, "Oh, it's tactical," but he's not been on the
Can't
bench.
even remember
since
if
then.
he's been on the
half
bench.
game, it wouldn't have been tactical, surely not.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So he come off, and I thought
It was
that
at
must
half
be.
time though, no?
Yeah, it was half time thing. I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So confirmation that Jorginho does start. Got a few super chats as well. This came in from Jordan early on. I predict people will moan about selection and will win. I don't think we've moaned that much, to be fair, Dave. So I thought I'd just let that one simmer and we can come back and see whether you approved right. This guy with the super chat says RIP, so Bobby Charlton. Yeah, absolutely. We did touch on that earlier, and we're all feeling that as well here at AFTV. Arteta Baller says, James, why can't you just wait till the official 11 like Robbie? Kills the suspense of revealing the 11 with all these unconfirmed sources. Listen, I normally would, only Ollie is spot on with it every single week. And so, everyone in the chat's talking about it, we shouldn't. He got it right again. Ricky says, Partey probably wanted 100% fit for Newcastle. Yeah, but I think there's a lot of football to be played.
Yeah, Newcastle, Sevilla away is a big one.
That's what I was going to say, yeah.
And we need to focus on today. We need to.
And that's 2 weeks ago. It's 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
Well, the 11's out. Is anyone here? I mean, is anyone here feeling changed drastically?
No.
With the 11?
Nope.
Still confident. I feel like Chelsea have got a bit of an attacking threat.
Yep.
But I'm happy that we've got Saliba and Gabriel that will be able to handle that. I mean, Saliba kept Haaland quiet. So, yeah, I'm confident with our back line, David Raya in goal.
Surafel says Jorginho doesn't match up well. Rice at 6, please. It's interesting that Arteta, 2 games in a row now, is opting for Rice as more of a box-to-box player. I don't know if that's forced because the other 8s haven't really made that position their own. I don't know if that's he's respecting the opposition. You know, he's done against 2 of the better sides we faced. But then against, if I'm not mistaken, against Tottenham and against Tottenham and United, he still went with Rice in the 6. He didn't go with him as a box-to-box. So, I don't know, is this a moment for Arteta, like a breakthrough, like, right, that's what I'm going to go with, Rice as a box-to-box, I want to resort more to last season? Or is it just the opposition? Is it horses for courses? I don't know.
I think Kai's let him down.
Yeah.
First and foremost, I think the plan was that Kai comes in at the 8 and Rice is the long-term successor to Partey. And by long-term, it could, you know, the transition would have happened this season at some point. But I think at the same time, Rice is a fluid player enough to be able to play 6 and play 8. So he you know, that acquisition of Rice was massive.
Yeah.
And it can help alleviate the risk taken with Havertz, which hasn't worked out so far. So ideally, I think in his mind, the midfield 3 come the midway stage of the season would have been Odegaard, Havertz, Rice.
Yeah.
But I think circumstances have changed considering Kai hasn't hit the ground running.
Yeah.
Partey has been injured here and there. He's had to mix things up at times. So, yeah, I'm not...
Yep, Thomas, I appreciate your comment. Says James, you said all along that you want Rice as an 8. Well, look, you know, let's see if for a sustained period of time he continues to perform well.
Right,
there
they've got one back against City. It's 15 minutes to go.
Well, let's touch in on all the other scores. So,
Ansu Fati's got the goal.
I did. Ansu Fati. Oh, wow, fair enough.
I've got the scores here if you want.
Go for it. Read them out.
Bournemouth, 10-man Bournemouth 1-1 against Wolves. Brentford are 2-0 up against Burnley. Man City 2-1 now against Brighton. Newcastle are 4-0 up against Palace. And Nottingham Forest are now 2-0 up against Luton Town. Obviously 5:30 week kickoff. Sheffield United at 8.
Wolves is the only goal from a team away from home, so it was looking like I was sort of looking at the scores thinking, is this going to be one of those days where...
No, it's not.
I mean, not only are the home teams winning, but away teams aren't even scoring. But Wolves got one back.
But wasn't it a similar case against City when all the games that day was all draws?
You're right. You're right. They were all...
It was a good spot, actually. That's a very good spot. Yeah,
I remember
Fair
that.
play. So Brighton pull one back against City. Cool. We'll keep going. Because the thing about City is they're not the same relentless attacking outlet that they've been in previous seasons.
I mean, I've delved into it, and last time I checked, which was a few minutes ago, they had 8 shots. They've got 10 shots now. And I know 10 shots is enough to win a game, but usually at this point in the game, you open up City at home, it's 23 shots, 7-8 on target.
Exactly. They're not the same relentless attacking outlet.
And this is with Rodri.
Yeah.
Right?
Rodri's back today.
Yeah.
Very true. And listen, people might think I'm trolling here. I'm not. The goal difference side of things is good too. Like, even if they're going to win games, City. So if they're winning them 1-0s and 2-1s here and there, brilliant. I'm fine by me. Conceding goals as well, I'll take it. All right, let's get the predictions in. Dan.
2-0 Arsenal.
Lovely.
2-0 Arsenal.
I said 2-2. I'm going to stick with it. It was based on the fact that I didn't think Partey and Jesus were both going to start. Well, down the middle, I mean. Saka's back, which is great. I just needed Partey in there to feel really confident that we were going to go and dominate almost every area of the pitch. Can I see us try to play out the back and maybe Jorginho gets caught on the ball? Could I see maybe in transition we struggle a little bit more because it's Jorginho in there? Yeah, I do. But could I also see us... Jorginho's been part of some really big wins. City, one of them, Newcastle away, another. So, listen, I'm not feeling bad about this game. I'm excited for it, but I'm not sitting here going, yeah, like we're going to wipe the floor with them. So 2-2, I'm going to stick with it.
Is that what you went with on Forever Arsenal?
I
2-2?
did, yeah.
I went 2-1 on Forever, but then I went 2-0 on Big Six. As well, people, not a reminder, but just so you know, this Sunday we're going live 9 p.m, Forever Arsenal. Jordan's back, and he's got a bone to pick with a few of the comments, so make sure 9 p.m. Sunday we're live. Me, James, Jordan and Lee judges Forever Arsenal right here, so make sure you're subscribed. And I'm sticking to my 2-0.
Cool, fair enough.
I'm feeling a lot more confident than most of you guys. I'm going to go 3-1 Arsenal. I'm going to go 3-1 Arsenal. I'm so. Yeah, no, of course. Yeah, I mean, in terms of the goals, that we're scoring. No, not that confident. But I'm just so happy to finally see this front three. So that's why I think we're going to score so many goals today.
Cool. Okay, fair enough. All right, let us know your score predictions in the comments below. Well, it'd be nice if I could actually open them up. Here we go. We've got a few coming in, I believe. A couple 3-0 Arsenals, a 4-3. Jorginho will make a mistake, says SJA. 5-0 Arsenal, says 10 Afric. Yeah, well, let's see. We'd all take that, wouldn't we? Couple, yeah, be some some confident, it's a lot of 2s and 3s and a lot of clean sheets. Let's see, Arsenal haven't conceded any goals away from home yet in the Premier League. Of course, we did lose 2-1 at Lens, which is also worth remembering. Our last trip on the road didn't quite go the way we hoped. But let's see, because Arsenal's away form, actually, even if you go back to last season, has been fantastic, especially in London derbies. All right, everyone, we'll be back at about 30 minutes or so for the start of the watch along as well. We'll be reacting to every kick of the ball, and then you get to have your say by joining us on FANZONE. Download the AFTV Plus app, very easy to do. You can get it on your iPhone, Samsung, Android device, whatever it might be. Honestly, it's one of the easiest things to do. You open the app, free to do. Sign up to FANZONE, free to do. You're in. You talk to us. You give your thoughts. That's what AFTV is all about, giving you all, the fans, a chance to have your say. All right, we'll see you all in about half an hour. The 11's out. Catch you all in a bit.